What's the deal, YouTube? We're back with the weekly podcast, Big Gamer Small Talk. We got a bit of bad news for the industry again. We had a death last week that we announced on the podcast, Tony Durant. Like, damn, and then we got another death to talk about today. A huge figure in the gaming industry. You see the title of the video here. And I'm lost for words, man. I feel it right here in my heart. It's like someone just took a knife and just twisted it, and just twisted it. I mean, I'm bugging the fuck out right now. Anyway, so guys, Iwata passed away. So what's the public consensus? Is it a public outcry on Twitter? What's going on there?
Yeah, everybody's coming out.
Everyone's sad.
Yeah, I first saw the news from Frank O'Connor from 343, who tweeted it first. He said, "Rip Iwata, great person." And I mean, he was from the first to say it. So far after that, we've had people from Microsoft and various outlets tweeting about it and things like that. A little background on him is, and he was 55. In June of 2000, he was appointed director of Nintendo. In 2002, he was appointed president, and then in 2013. He was appointed CEO of Nintendo of America, so he was pretty big way. Yeah, he did. He worked his way up the company. He's the equivalent of like a Yoshida or Jack Tretton. You know what I'm saying? Along those lines. So or Phil Spencer.
Who do you think his successor may be? I doubt if they give it to Reggie.
It says that there's still. Let's see. As a result, the following two representatives remain at the company: Genyo Takeda and Senior Managing Director Shigeru Miyamoto. So, Miyamoto and this other guy are like, were like co-executives or whatever.
Yeah, so. I know. But they say he just recently stepped away from the hardware. But listen, I'm gonna say something, and trust me, I'm not being disrespectful.
Let's put it out there that the opinions of Next Gen 712.
No, it's not going to be that bad. I mean, I just want to say this, and I'm just going to be real. Cause I see we got 9 dislikes already. What I mean, and I'm not trolling, but I've been saying this. You guys been saying this. That Nintendo needs new blood. I'm not saying they had to come on the heels of his death or him dying, but. The rumors that we already hearing about the Nintendo NX have not been good thus far. When they say there is smoke, there is fire. They say they're not looking to compete in terms of what Sony and Microsoft when it comes in terms of power. You know what I mean? So this is going to be their 9th generation console, and if they're not willing to compete with Microsoft and Sony, so they're going to be in the same boat again with no third-party support. That hurt the Wii U more than anything. I mean, I'm not, saying because, he died. Like I said, a lot of you guys that are younger, I'm 37 years old, I'm a little longer than you, but I remember, like I said before, when Nintendo were great, that was the only console that you needed to hold. And sometimes when you people say, who buys Nintendo games for multiplats? So, so what about Contra? What about Castlevania? What about the Karate Kid? What about Double Dragon? What about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? What about The Simpsons? All these great games were not made by Nintendo. RC Pro-Am, was made by Rare. All these great third-party, multiplayer games were not made by Nintendo. That was gave Nintendo the one-up on Sega because they had such strong third-party support, and the Sega Master System didn't. You understand what I'm saying? That's what made Nintendo the NES so great. You know what I mean? And maybe now, I'm not trying to be insensitive. Maybe they can get a newer president, younger, fresher. You know what I mean? That you understand the way the industry is going. Because I'm just to be real, Nintendo is the godfather of gaming. If you're gonna be the godfather of gaming, they're so far behind the curve, is crazy as hell. Like you release a console, quote unquote, a 8th generation console in 2012 with 8 gigs of flash.
I got a point here for you, Z, to go with you, and I think this marries into what you're saying. And all due respect to the man who passed, my hat's off to him. He's the reason I got into it. I mean, Nintendo's Nintendo.
It was my first console. It just got me into gaming.
Same here. And I'll be honest with you. Here's the deal. Nintendo's always been they're ingenuitive, okay? They've always led in a lot of categories, even as far as up to the Wii. Okay, they felt like they reinvented the wheel again by doing the most. They brought that motion to where we're all at today. Now a lot of people are sick of that, but they had that thing. That train was moving with them. And I think what they're thinking with this NX, and if the rumors are true, you know, that's a big if. I don't think that Nintendo ever wants to just say we're just going to follow Microsoft and Sony. Now they might take the ship down, but they're going to continue. They thought they did something with the gamepad. It didn't work, okay? They saw tablets were the future, and tablets are the future. Everyone's got a tablet now. You go see a doctor, you go see a lawyer. They got a tablet in their hand, but they're showing you the human anatomy. You want to know where your back hurts? Right here. Take a look. You know what I mean? So, like, everything so they thought they were moving forward. That happened to falter and fumble. That's because of the gamers, man. We got some cranky-ass gaming people these days, okay? Like I said, Microsoft's giving them everything off their back. Microsoft's spending billions. Phil Spencer stood up there at E3 and was doing that shit like we do at the strip clubs with his money. His hand was just throwing cash out. Throwing cash. The shit was raining on people, and people were booing and throwing shit at him. Like, you can't please people these days. And Nintendo refused. And you know what? Honestly, and maybe it's just because my heart's going out to Nintendo tonight because of this loss. But you know what? Good for them. Because right now, Z, I don't think they're going to come out with something. And I was the first one to tell you I think the NX is going to drop. I don't think it's going to do very well. But they're like, you know what? Screw that. We're going to go out there. We're going to make this, if it's that mobile unit that still plays certain types of games, you're like, this is the first time you could do something with this type of product. If that's what it is, that's fine. They do see, like, Sega's doing all mobile, right? They went all mobile. Nintendo's starting to we've broken this to our last podcast where we said Nintendo's already invested with certain companies to get their mobile games out there within, you know, around 2017, and maybe that's what this NX is going to do. It's going to marry into that whole mobile market that they see is already very, very productive and very, very what's the word I'm looking for? It's producing tons of money. I mean, tons of money. So. Right. My point is, I think that's the way they're going. So I think, Z, no matter who takes the next seat, I don't think you're going to see a radical change. And you know the way the Japanese are. That cultural shock won't happen for another 25 years.
I want to say this.
1 second, show, before you add, I'm going to shut the fuck up. What you're saying, and what I want the fans that may dislike the video, what you don't understand, if you do not evolve, you understand that you're going to be still, like, this, like, come on. There's nowhere even comparing the two between the Xbox, the PlayStation, and then the Wii U. It's like people give them a pass. Oh, well, that's Nintendo. No, that's not good enough. You know, sometimes you can't afford. Listen, if I couldn't afford a PlayStation, I will be fine with my Xbox One. And maybe they're a PlayStation fan. They couldn't afford the Xbox, whatever. They'd be fine because what hurt Nintendo again the most was their stubbornness. They see that the tablet didn't latch on to gamers. What they should have did was Microsoft did, swallowed their pride, took the tablet out of the goddamn box, and sold the console for $200, $225. You know what I mean? And sold it as an extra peripheral with a game that fully utilized it, like the Wii balance board. You understand what I'm saying? That's what they should have did. They gauged the market wrong. You know what I mean? You know, they try to quote unquote catch on to this tablet craze. If you're gonna do a tablet, do it right. Don't do it the cheap way. Make it a full-fledged tablet that you can have your application, take it outside what you want to go. Like, you know what I mean? It's not even digital, it's analog. Like, you know what I mean? It's like Nintendo went the cheap route, like when they did, like, come on, man. You put out listen, regardless of what, not saying that we're industry insiders, not saying that that Nintendo may have not knew what the exact specs that were going into the PlayStation or going into the Xbox, but they had to know, like, this is what our competitor is doing. Here, this is what Capcom or Ubisoft is working on. They know ain't no damn way in hell those games could have ran on their system. You understand what I'm saying? Like, you know, I mean, you know, it's okay to be different and march, you know, you want to do your own thing and be unique, but you have to at least be able to do the basic shit that your competitors do. They put out a fucking next generation console that can't run the next generation engines. Was that Iwata's decision? Like I said, not to be insensitive, I'm sorry, I feel my heart goes out to his family and all, but, you know, maybe they can get someone in here that sees, like, this, you know, we're getting our ass kicked. Like I was telling Crap, he argued a few weeks, like I said, I'm right, you're wrong. Yeah, the new Nintendo's going to be out 2006. They have a console out there that's not making any money. It's not, you know, selling really any software. Of course, now you have Splatoon that's doing pretty well. But when is the last time you seen a Wii U game in the top 10?
Yeah, but Nintendo can make money through the mobile market. I mean, if they release a $150, they can make money. So it's not, you know, that's neither here nor that it's not what you like, Zaire, because you want it, and gamers want a console that can run next generation graphics. But I don't know if you're gonna get that with this. You're just gonna get Nintendo.
Again, we should point out that this is rumor. It's rumor.
Yes, it's all rumor, but it's on the subject.
Well, there's smoke is fine.
But God bless him. It's very
just no Nintendo.
This is. I want to before I go. I want to pay my respects to the man that passed, because regardless of if you love him or hate him, he did do a lot of good things for Nintendo. He brought a lot of good content for gamers of those that love that platform and that enjoy the Marios, the motion gaming, this Zelda, all that little stuff that he brought to the table for gamers to enjoy. He did do a lot of great things. I think we're going in the direction of the things that they need to go moving forward. But at this moment, it's this man right here, that worked his butt off to try to get them to go forward, regardless if he succeeded or he failed. You know what I'm saying? This man passed. And, I just wanted to pay the respect to this man for trying to bring gamers enjoyment. And I think, at that point, I just wanted to give this time out just to sit here and say, from a gamer, that enjoyed the things that he did bring, he will be missed. I hate to see anybody pass. But moving forward, I kind of agree with Tim. I think their games will sell a lot better on mobile market. Moving forward, I just don't see them putting out a console if it's not going to be everything that gamers want. I mean, it's a shift in how gamers like things nowadays, and it's kind of weird how we perceive things now. It ain't like how it used to be, and Nintendo's still on that what it used to be, where they can put out a platform, they can put out this, and you can game, and that single experience. Where now gaming is moving towards internet, and enjoying it with your friends and talking in party chats and having a good time, laughing and joking and just doing all these other little great things. And I just think that they're not there yet, and it's going to cost too much to get them there. And I don't know if they're willing to take that risk to jump into that fight like that. I just don't know. If they do, I will be surprised, but at this moment, I just don't think they would take that risk. And that's just my 2 cents on it. I can go ahead and go from there.
As a gamer, okay, did you enjoy the things that
that's what I'm saying. I mean, if you can't deny the Mario Party, the Mario Kart, Mario Kart, the motion, the Wii. When the Wii first came out, man, that blew everybody for a loop. You know what I'm saying? I mean, just think about it. When the Wii came out, that was the most successful console of that generation. We can't argue.
It did.
See what I'm saying? So I'm sitting here saying, like, this man's success, he was successful. It's just the second time going around. He just, I mean, everybody have their goods and their bads.
No,
you know what I'm saying?
I'm not saying this. Or maybe misunderstood. I'm not saying that. And I'm not. What made the Wii successful? That it appealed to non-gamers.
And that's a good thing. But that's a success on Iwata.
When it came to the actual gamer, the gamer, they didn't care for the Wii. Like, I'm just being honest. The Wii has been, as far as sales, has been in last places to connect, and since the PlayStation Move came out, which was true motion control. What I mean?
Okay, and look at it like this: Did the Wii outsell the Xbox 360?
I'm not negating
and the PlayStation.
The thing about the Wii is top-heavy sales. I mean, it made 100 million. Like,
but I'm just saying,
3 years, you're like, what the?
Boom! It blew up quick. Okay. So basically, what I'm saying is, like, it's just like these. You got these YouTube sensations, and you have these guys that go out, they blow up real fast, and then they're, when they come back, it don't work because people don't move on from that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not denying that people moved on from motion gaming.
No,
I just, but at that point, that was the hottest thing in his moment, at his peak. That was the hottest thing since sliced bread.
I'm not discrediting that.
You know what I'm saying?
What made the Wii so successful that it appealed to non-gamers. I bought 2 from my grandmother's church to speak of that. And I'm not negating. I'm just talking about gamers. You know what I mean? Well, here's the thing: what I consider success. If you only had a Wii showstopper, would you have been satisfied with that?
No. I wouldn't be satisfied because I'm a different. I enjoy more action-packed games, and they strip that down. And but now we're going into that their policies. You know what I'm saying? But I'm sitting here saying like it's good, bad. It's good to bad to Microsoft. It's good to bad to Sony. It's good to bad on everybody. Even with PC, it's good and bad. I can sit here and pick apart every little thing at this moment, but I'm not saying
no one's perfect. No, what I'm saying at the end of the day, what to me, what determines a console, if you can only have one, and you be satisfied with that one, then whether how much it sells or whatever the case may be, that was I consider a success. The Wii was, like I said, it was a fact. It had a lot of shovelware. They put out again. That's what I understand. But this is what I don't understand. And for them, and I'll fall into the hype, for them to take the stage and say no longer will the Wii U, I'm sorry, not mine, no longer would Nintendo be left behind. You understand that? They put out the Wii couldn't even run Unreal Engine 3. You understand what I'm saying? So again, there was so many multiplex, again, that skipped the Wii. You understand what I'm saying? It had to be something built from it, especially tailored for it, and those games sold like shit. So you just realize, like, damn, how they make their money is through software sales. So you here, as a president, here's what I'm talking about, as a president, we just put out a console that didn't get Assassin's Creed, that didn't get this, that didn't get all these, you know what I mean, that didn't get the Mass Effects, and get all this type of stuff, right? So I'm going to, because our platform wasn't strong enough to run these, multi-plat games. So we're going to do the same exact thing the next generation again?
Well, here's the thing, Z. A lot of these companies look at their data. Okay, now we're on Monday morning quarterback, so it's easy for us to make the next comment. But let's look at it this way, okay? So the Wii crushed sales, and it was completely underperforming compared to the 360 and PS3.
Yes, it was.
And listen, and let's be honest. Even Xbox, I think, looked at this when they went with the DDR3 versus the GDDR5. There's just this misconception, and I blame the media. Okay, the media is the one who's driven this home because there's no real difference. We've already all agreed we don't need to go down this path again. There's no difference between the PS4 and the Xbox One graphically. I don't give a shit what anybody says. Okay, unless you're wearing a monocle.
You're not gonna see that power.
There's no way. So
we haven't seen it yet. So
we haven't seen it. We haven't seen it in games. We haven't seen it even in comparison. So, but what I'm saying now to Nintendo's credit was sat there and said, "This is a hypothetical mooch figuring a board meeting at Wii, right?" So they had something where they said basically we had the Wii. The Wii crushed the 360 and the PS3 in sales. So now we're making the Wii U, and if we're making the Wii U. Why we don't need to make it as powerful, right? Because everybody was like, well, we didn't do it the last gen. We definitely don't have to do it this generation. So they made the Wii U what they deemed would be capable to handle Zelda, Mario. We wanted Metroid, those types of games. And then they thought their ingenuitive move, their one kick to the competition was the gamepad. And the gamepad was a failure. But again, that's easy to say today on that Monday morning quarterback, or now we're in the passenger seat just telling them to make a left. We're like, you made the wrong turn, man. That's fine. But they looked at all their data, and I think to a certain extent Xbox and the Microsoft team looked at their data and said, listen, there's really no need to go and spend the extra $100 or $65 to put in the box when we're already putting this big, Connect 2.0 in there. So that's probably why possibly they went with the DDR3. That's complete speculation. There's no articles on that or anything else. That's just my perspective.
What are you talking about as far as what? Microsoft?
Yeah, I'm just saying. I think that these
companies look at the DDR3 because
I'm kind of splitting it down in two. I'm just saying, looking at the two ways they look at it.
These companies multitasking with Microsoft. As far as the DDR5. Let me say this: it does wonder for your GPU, but it causes latency on your CPU. In the multitasking, the switching, and all that shit that you're doing on the, it would have been conclusive for Microsoft to use DDR5. That's why a lot of the PS4 games have frame rate issues because DDR5 causes latency. It does wonders for your GPU. That's why they're able to hit that 1080p.
Absolutely.
That's why you have to see that AAA game that's 1080p, 60 frames a second.
But I mean,
on
But saying
PS4.
converting that exact same thing, but I'm saying my point was that basically the Nintendo folks sat in a boardroom and they said, I don't think we need to worry about our customers wanting the latest and greatest. Now, the only thing where I do fault them, and this is not Monday morning quarterback, this is literally the day they were coming up with the Wii U. I'm shocked nobody in the room was like, this Wii U spec is not going to be able to handle third-party games coming out. They knew
That's
it was
what I'm talking about.
And that's where I'm with you, see. That's what I'm saying.
That's why I'm with him on that too.
Yeah, I'm with you there.
I think that the problem where they went.
Go ahead, Sean.
I said the problem where they went wrong at is just not making their console to fit these next generation engines, and to where third party can put their game on there. And another problem that I had with Nintendo was that the fact that they dumbed down a lot of games. You know, so if you had like a action, you know, they kind of dumbed it down a little bit. So it's not quite the same as your competitors. It was just a complete different version almost.
I mean, ain't choice but to dumb it down. It has 1 gig of RAM. Your competitors has 5.5 gigs of this.
I mean, even when it was on a 360 in the Wii when they had the Wii, they still dumbed it down. You know, it just didn't feel the same.
You know why?
When they had the third parties on there, and that's why I think a lot of people start going and gravitating more towards PlayStation and Xbox.
The Wii was barely more powerful than the GameCube,
and that
and it didn't do, and it wasn't an HD console. Your competitors are an HD console, and you're not. That's what I'm saying. Like, you do this shit 2 generations in a row. You just had, and like I said, you just had a whole generation when you couldn't get all these Assassin's Creeds, the Mass Effects, and you know whatever else came out, whatever big third-party games that came out, Mafia 2 and the Grand Theft, whatever the case may be. You just went a whole generation that you missed all those multi-plats right there, right? And then you're gonna do the same exact thing again the next generation. Like, who the hell is making these decisions? Is it him? Like, you know what I mean? You know.
Well, I can say this much. All right, I've been pretty quiet on this, and also I'll jump in. Iwata had the most successful mid-tenure of the mid-90s out of any of the big three. He was in charge of the Wii, over 100 million, the DS, 150 million. You know, I mean, those are, you just can't top that. You can put Nintendo, you can put Microsoft and Sony.
The king of handhelds. I get it.
I mean, so there you go. I mean, he was in charge of that. Great success. Him being gone, they're not going to change anything. Whatever's in motion is in motion. I happen to think it's not going to be. Look, you can't even get a 3DS for, it's like $179, so $200. There's no way that this thing's going to be a $150 box. You know, there's just not. It's not going to happen. And you got and because they already said it's going to play Wii U games. So that tells me right there that that's kind of bullshit. Yeah. You can't hear me?
Yeah, I mean.
Oh, okay. Well. Anyway, so like I'm saying, like it's all speculation and rumors. I think that they're not going to have anything more powerful than the PS4 and 3 or Xbox One, but it could be more powerful than what we're led to believe, and certainly it's not going to be a $150 thing like what this rumor is, because the 3DS isn't even that, and this has to mimic Wii U because it's supposed to be backwards compatible.
Okay, but crap. Let's think about what you're saying. So they're going to make the same exact mistake.
I don't think they care about third-party stuff.
I think in the end they're gonna just make games to the Wii U spec. That's all I think is going to be.
But listen. So what you're listen? We all know
because they're not going to be, because third party. You talk about third party. Look at a game like Call of Duty.
Who's gonna buy third party games on Nintendo?
Can I make it a point about this? When you have a system like next generation where you have Call of Duty with PlayStation 4 and Xbox, you're going to have a certain level of power to run third-party games.
Okay.
I don't see Nintendo putting out a device that's going to do that. I think it's just going to be like 150. I think it sounds right up the alley that it sounds like where they're going as far as when I first heard about this and when that first report came out. So now you have 2 reports that are leaning that way. In my opinion, it's going to be to the Wii U spec. You'll buy another. You could buy an add-on, or you could play Wii U games that they'll still play. I don't know. Maybe I can't see them upping the spec too much, because if they're either going to have to hit the Wii U spec or they're going to have to hit the Xbox One PS4 spec. which I don't know if
again,
it's possible.
this what's going.
That is, if that's good, that's good. But you
no,
know,
no, it can't be good because believe it, this should be with their 9th generation console, not their 8th.
they're not gonna bring. So they're not. The Mario's a fucking cartoon.
I get that. But this is not what I'm saying again. This is what I'm saying. Okay, forget the games that they're making. What hurt the Wii and what hurt the Wii U is that they those big AAA multiplayer games they couldn't get because their console was too anemic. So you're gonna tell me you're gonna do that same exact thing?
Well, they're gonna add in
generations in a row. Because guess what? When the PS5 comes out and the Xbox whatever comes out, you know what I mean, you're gonna have new engines. So your 9th generation console again, it's not going to be able to run these engines.
What if they don't care about third-party stuff?
How could you not care about that? That's what cuts them a check. That's free money. That's how they get
That's like the same mistake they did the last 2 years.
This is what I'm thinking though. I'm thinking to myself, okay, Crab Gamer, when was the last time you bought a third-party game on a Nintendo console? And I think it would have to go back to the Super Nintendo or maybe the N64. Like seriously, it's that far. Like I don't think I seriously don't think they care.
They're just too far behind.
I seriously don't. I'm not negating that. Listen. I'm on board with you with that. Maybe like I don't know if that was Iwata's fault. What I'm saying is that they need new blood to be able to compete. Because if they don't, if they come out with the same business model again, they can't afford to drop another deuce.
Well, I will say this: you don't rush to market a new console if you're just putting a spec what your last one did. Because what's the point? Why not just redesign the Wii U and then put it out without a tablet, maybe just a console or with a regular controller? That's got to be a lot cheaper. To me, whatever they're doing and what they said, if you read their documents, we have a dedicated home console coming out. NX, and we're going to talk about it, and it's probably going to release next year. So to me, that says does that scream that it's going to be more powerful? I don't think so, but I do think that it's going to be more powerful than the Wii U. You know what I mean? Otherwise, there's no point.
That's not saying much.
So but that means that you're foregoing the third-party market.
I don't think they care about the third-party market.
Do you guys realize this? That you get multiplex every Tuesday. Every Tuesday. When was the last game that came out for Nintendo besides Splatoon?
Well, we used to last gen. We got them every Tuesday. Now we don't. We get fucking once a month.
Every Tuesday. You're right.
Normally, you get games. Well, like this. Look at the amount of games that have released for the Xbox One and the PS4 since the holidays. You know what I mean? Since the holidays up until now, whether they sold well or not, you don't have anything. And like I said,
guess what? That trend's gonna keep going.
But they're never
it's going to keep games are going to get less and less. That's just the way it gets going.
Like I said, the consumer, even though you may like your Mario or whatever the case may be, I don't understand who's in charge that you can't put out a console that can cater to your home demographic and go after new customers. It's all about you want to get customers from Microsoft, from Sony to build your business. You understand? Microsoft and Sony are trying to steal each other.
You know what I'm seeing? D, you know what I'm seeing right now? I'm seeing there used to be 3 pizza places on one block. Two pizza places, they're kicking ass. And now that third one started selling burritos. So listen, what I'm saying is, here's the deal, and you guys know what I'm talking about for real. What I'm thinking is and this is what Sony's kind of doing too. They came out and said, see, you say it all the time. Jack Tretton said it. That other dude who looks like Dana Carvey, who runs Sony, whatever his name is, they said we're going in. We're going to take it easy. We're not doing AAAs the way we used to do it. So
they don't believe that though. The fan base doesn't anyway.
I just got into an argument halfway. I'm talking to you guys and fucking tweeting at the same time. I should fucking get an award for that. But honestly, literally, no. Some guys just telling me the same thing you guys are saying, basically that the Sony that what is that game called, Tim, with the fucking
Rocket League.
Rocket League. I was arguing about that. But getting back to the Nintendo thing was, Nintendo, I think, is basically, they're like, we don't make the pizzas like the other dudes. We're not doing that right. Yeah. We got to look at something else. I think they're going that third route which is
They're going burrito route.
that mobile burrito movement.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. Next gen, what's best for Nintendo is what's best for Nintendo isn't maybe what's best for you though. Next gen, I think that maybe
Not about me. I'm
no. But check this out. I think that's right. Or maybe me or hardcore gamers.
Okay.
I think Zaire Z, what you said, you kind of representing all of us with what you're saying.
Yeah,
I think you're
I
100% right.
this is not what's best for me because we're talking about what's best. Nintendo goal is to sell consoles to to everyone, not just to me. And again, so what their mistake that they made in the 7th generation, they did the same mistake in the 8th generation.
Yes, you're
and
right.
I'm saying if they're going to do that same mistake in the 9th generation, they're going to play
third time's a charm.
They're coming into
mobile
this
burrito.
Listen, how many years has this console been out and has yet to sell 10 million units? You know what I mean? It's not about whether I like it. When I bought the Wii U, day one, I bought multiplayer. I bought Assassin's Creed. I bought Tekken 10. I bought Madden. I bought 2K. And guess what? Like when I bought 2K, I didn't. There was no game invites. They were like, and this like I don't this. Like, who's in charge of making? Is that if that's
they need fundamental change. They need fundamental change.
Here's the thing.
But right now it's just gonna, you know.
That's what I'm saying. They need change. They need new blood because they can't do the same thing. If that was, I understand Iwata did great things with the handheld. Nintendo has that shit on Smash. I get that. But when it comes down to making a great home console that would appeal to everyone, the hardcore gamer and the casual, they fucking suck. They do. You know, there's only but so much Mario you can do. You know what? Mario, you can be a Nintendo fan. You can listen to some of these like Shokyo. All these they're like, what the fuck is Nintendo doing? Like, you know, like why can't you, you know, give us our games and also have third party aboard? You know what I mean? Make a console that can run that. Is that so hard to ask?
I think it's looking grim in that. I think they're going to forego the third party market.
They're in a rock and a hard place. Look, coming into a console generation where the Xbox One and PS4 will be 3 years in already. So all the hardcore gamers that want third-party games will have already bought one of those or both of those consoles. Nintendo, what they're going to do is do what they always do, rely on the top first-party games, which they have. You know what I'm saying? And that's what they're going to do. They're going to have a low-cost thing because, let's face it, casuals buy the most. You put something out for $250, you're going to sell a lot. It might not be what we want, but it's going to probably make them a lot of money.
Okay, listen, crap. Going by what you're saying. Put out a console with $250. The casual wants to play Call of Duty.
Japan will eat it up.
The casual wants to play Madden. The casual wants to play NBA 2K. The casual wants to play Assassin's Creed. They're not getting that. Again,
well, it's gonna be so cheap. People are gonna have multiple consoles.
And it'll do well.
It didn't work from this generation.
It's gonna have a cell phone tie-in somehow.
Listen, what you're saying,
some type of mobile
the Wii U is the cheapest console on the market. All right?
Continue it.
Am I right or wrong? The Wii U is the cheapest console on the market. By them being
no, it's $349. I mean, I think it's the same price as the Xbox One.
I think it's $300. It's $300. That didn't work for them. By them being the cheapest, people buy your console to play games.
But it wasn't because look. But this is the thing: people didn't see it as being cheap enough. The Wii was $250, right? That's cheap. That's a hell of a bargain. You know, and that's why everybody got it.
Yeah. Besides cheap, it had the new gimmick with it. Okay, it could have been cheap if it didn't have that gimmick with it. It would have got the shit kicked out of it. Just being real, because everybody wanted those HD graphics. You know what I mean? If you look at the problem is
not everyone wants it. Not everyone wants it. There's kids out there. There's different demographics.
Well, here's the
listen,
thing.
Tim, I have kids. My kids wants to play. Dad, I want to play Xbox. I won't play that game. I won't play that game. I want, you know what I mean? Like she doesn't.
You love Xbox.
Well, let me say this: they were okay at first because 2006. It was actually a very small percent had HD TVs though in 2006. So I mean, for the first years,
we're talking about
they were good. Yeah, well now
they're gonna do a 150 machine. I mean,
how can they? The 3DS is more than that.
So then they're foregoing the third party, is what you're saying, because they're not going to be able to meet the PS4 Xbox spec. Do we agree on that?
I don't know.
I don't think they're going to.
Tim, what you're saying? Now listen, I'm not saying. Listen,
maybe they do need it, but then
this whole thought, what you're saying. I want you to think. what you're saying. The specs that went inside the Xbox One and the PS4 were gathered in 2011. It is now 2015. So the specs that are going to go on the Wii U were probably thought about in 2014. It's newer.
I don't think they think of it that way, though. I think Nintendo thinks outside of the box.
I'm just.
Yeah, you know, so this is going to be like a continuum. Like you could use your iPad with it. I don't know. It's not. I don't see that being with us.
Well, hold on. Let's just play along for real quick. Let's say they match the specs of the PS4, right?
Okay.
Who's gonna buy third party? Who's gonna buy third-party games on this thing? Nobody.
I mean,
it's gonna be a waste of money.
You know what?
Why
I'm
not?
gonna tell you something. To be fair, hold on. To be fair, if the console looks nice, the controller is nice, and they make it to where it's you can play online, I think a lot of people will buy it.
Yeah, I don't see why not.
I think a lot of people will buy it. You know, because I've seen some designs of these consoles. A lot of gamers buy things by how it looks.
But
you know what I'm saying? So if it looks nice,
do you really feel like they're gonna come out of nowhere?
I mean, listen. I bought my Wii U. Because I bought Assassin's Creed.
But nobody else did.
I'm just saying. I bought third-party games because I'm
How many copies did Splinter Cell Blacklist sell in there?
19,000.
Exactly.
See,
nobody's gonna buy that shit.
So,
I don't care.
Different kind of kids buy it. They're not,
Showstopper made a good point because listen, a lot of times when you put a good presentation out, it'll work. Unfortunately, I agree with every single situation and category except gaming because the Ouya they put a lot of money into their controller and it looked decent. And they made it, but it didn't. And their console looked good, and it was online gaming only, and it was terrible. Now I know that
here's where I disagree with that. But this is where I disagree with that. The Ouya did not have a lot of beloved franchises that you can't get nowhere else. This is what I'm saying. But
it does, and it still failed.
It failed because of the lack of third-party support and the lack of online gaming. So if they have that, you know what I'm saying? If they have that, I think a lot of people will go and play on the Nintendo side.
I would like to say this. That last
Mario would make it a lot interesting. I'm telling you.
This last Mario was the worst selling of all of them. You know what I mean? There's only so much you can do with the Mario and the.
That's only because that's the only thing that's on that platform.
Yeah,
so if you have third-party support and you still getting those exclusives, I think a lot of people will go.
Yeah, I don't think it'd be a problem either because they do have some of the most beloved IPs in the world, the most notable characters in the world. I get that. So that's what I'm saying. 3 generations in a row that you could cater to your hardcore fans, you have to go after the fans of Microsoft. You have to go after the fans.
But they already had the fans of Microsoft.
Let me ask
you those consoles.
Zaire.
Yes.
Let me ask you a question.
Yes.
What about bringing those games to mobile, to like your phone?
I don't have a problem
with
that.
Why don't you think that they would do that? It's a much.
Why can't they do both though? They could do both, right? I mean,
if they can match the Xbox,
one market.
if they can match, like you said though, Nintendo. I don't think they're buying third party. Their third party is just. I don't really see them a player in next gen with it. That's why.
Nobody buys their. Nobody buys.
The thing is, the problem with Nintendo, they stopped fighting to be the #1 console. Plain and simple.
I think Nintendo takes the biggest risk.
Listen, they are happy with being your second choice. So if they figure if you get an Xbox or a PlayStation, they figure one of those is going to be your main, and they are fighting for that second.
Hey, you know what?
And I'm just saying
they're not even the second choice because 3 years didn't even sell 10 million consoles.
Hey, well, I can say this much. One of them is hooked up on my TV, and it ain't the PS4, but it is.
I'm just saying. The second choice is the Xbox and the PS4. That's the 1-2 punch right there, not the Wii U. You know what I mean?
But see, with the Wii, it was the opposite. You see what I'm saying? Everybody's second console was the Wii for a while. And then they start getting rid of it.
I mean, I don't see too many things.
I mean, I know it was mine. I know, you know what I'm saying? So it was just, I got the 360, the Wii, then I got the PlayStation 3. And you know what I'm saying? And that was like my third option.
but this is what I'm saying, fellas. At the grand scheme of things, about who they compete. What I'm saying at the end of the day is that I don't know and I'm not, like I said, taking a stab at this dead man or anything. I'm saying with those, he makes a lot of bad. If the buck stopped with him, the bill stopped with him, and he had the final say. It's that 2 generations in a row that they put out consoles that couldn't handle third-party support. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying the fact that long as they supported the 360 and the PS3 with these multi-plats, yeah, those games could come to the Wii U. It's just that a lot of Nintendo fans didn't buy those games. But I'm talking about games like Doom, the new Ghost Recon, shit like that. Those type of games. People looking at it, 2 generations in a row. So I'm saying if they do that again, 3 generations in a row, I don't know what the fuck to say.
Yeah, well, I think coming into 3 years into the generation and then expecting people to just drop their PS4 and Xbox One.
Crap. There's going to be.
But they're not. There's not going to be another Xbox in 2016 or 2017 or 2018.
Crap. You realize the 8th generation started in 2012.
Yes, for Nintendo, but realistically, for Sony and Microsoft, you can really say they started in 2014.
Okay, but so when they're in 2016 is when the 9th generation starts. Now, when the other 2 jump on board, fine, but it's going to start in 2016. Now,
yes, for Nintendo, but they're competing. If they are competing with anybody, they're competing with the current. See, that's why they're in this bad position. Because
listen, all the things you're hearing, you're getting negative. You're hearing rushing to the market. You're hearing it's just it's going down. It's probably not going down a good route, but we'll just hope for the best.
We know they're rushing because they moved Zelda. They put Zelda was supposed to come out this year for Wii U.
It's just going to probably sell like hotcakes. What I'm saying is, Tim, you think about this.
But it's going to sell like hotcakes if it's different.
I don't think a lot of you guys are taking it. That's something I've been saying from day one. They have a console that's not making any money. It's not selling any software. And besides Splatoon did well, but it's not selling any software.
Yeah, it's not. The division is not doing well.
Smash Bros. Okay, but you didn't see Smash Brothers in the top 10. Came December, January, February. No, that's it.
I tell you what, I would love to hear some of those Xbox games selling as well as some of them Wii U games, though, man. When you see what they say, Smash Brothers sold like 4 million or whatever.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know what.
Yeah, but was
I don't. It was the thing. We was bragging about it. It was going up against Halo Master Chief Collection.
Well, when you consider it, I mean, if they got something that sold 4 million, and they have less than and they have 10. They announced it, and they have less than
sold 4 million copies.
Yeah.
I don't know about that one.
3DS and Wii U.
Yeah,
no, that's just Wii U.
Oh, I don't
sure
know
about that. I don't know about that.
I know VG charts is not official.
I'm not talking about VG charts. I'm talking about Nintendo came out and announced what they've sold. And Splatoon's already over 1 million as well.
Okay. I mean, but it's cool when you got one game releases for your console every 6 months. You don't have.
What do you want? What do you want to happen, Zaire? What would make you jump up and down?
You're
in charge. What are you gonna do? You're in charge of Nintendo right now. Let's just pretend.
If I'm in charge of Nintendo, what would I would do right now?
Right now,
I would have maybe not. Maybe I know it's not gonna be, but I would have an online structure that mimics, PSN or Xbox Live, where I can have game invites mandatory for every game, voice chat mandatory for every game, an achievement system, a global achievement system, and I will future-proof my system, that when the PS5 comes out and the Xbox, whatever, that it will still be able to run those games. That's not hard to do. People don't upgrade. People don't. No, because think about this. If you have a gaming rig, okay? Whether it be a Titan or whatever the fuck you got, a 970, it can still shit. Look at Black Bond. It had 2 560 Ti's for how long, and he still was able to play multi-plats. It's not that hard to future-proof your system. You know what I mean? It's not that hard. You know what I mean? I will future-proof my system. If you look at when these games come out on PC and they give you the what do you call it, the basic, the bare minimum specs that you need to run a game, That's all that they have to do and still being contented to be okay. That's all that they have to do. People, the gamer today, they don't want a gamer. They want a system with a traditional controller, an okay multiplayer, online, and that's it. All of the other shit, the gimmick, they don't. That's not what they want. That's not what the industry is clamoring for. You know what I mean? So
What type of controller would you use? Would you just use a standard controller?
The Pro controller. They sold a Pro controller.
Well, you wanted to do a traditional Xbox. That's what Xbox basically did.
A traditional controller. You know what I mean? If you want to still make the Wii U tablet compatible with the with the Nintendo.
The only way they could probably do this, the only way they could probably do this, Zaire, is if they halt their production, what they're doing right now.
Well, how? Why?
Because they're in a process.
This is what they already. They already leaked out that they're gonna start they're already production or whatever.
Okay,
so.
it says rumored to be x86, good thing, because your competitors.
Well, what if the specs are what we fear?
Then they're fucked. It's the same thing all over again. Why
that's when the news comes out. The news comes out. You know, I mean, we'll see.
Tim, what I'm saying to you is this: why do the same thing 3 generations in a row? Multiplex you need multiplex on your console, but to be successful.
I just think they're going after that.
Why do you think
they're going after mobile market?
What's keeping the PS4 afloat, brother? What's keeping multiplex and fucking indies, right? They're trying to get nothing coming out. So what's what I mean? So like I'm not even in the gaming business. Not just me getting my what's keeping the PS4 afloat is multiplex. And fucking Nintendo.
Yeah, but like Prop said, you think about it. Nobody buys any third-party games on that system. It's all about the exclusives.
I mean, if they had, I would say that if they had multiplex look just as good as the PS4 and the Xbox One, people would buy it.
I don't think they would.
Listen,
you realize that
you guys are forgetting this thing. Let's go back to the old NES, right?
That's way a long time ago.
I'm just saying, let's go back. So who had all the third-party support, right? Did you think twice about buying, whatever game for your NES? What would be the difference now? Because if they had achievements and all that shit also, what would be the fucking difference?
The difference is that we've all spent so much time putting in our effort on the ecosystem for Xbox or PlayStation.
They can get new customers, and guess what? They can also get some Sony fans. They can also get some fans from Microsoft.
I think you're going to see, no matter what they do, look, their first-party exclusives don't require a lot of power. Mario's Mario. I think that's probably how they look at it. Mario's Mario. Do you really need fucking 8 gigs to play Mario?
But you need third-party support, though.
Well, we think
if they have 8 gigs, then that's a good sign. Let's put it that way. When it does get announced, look at the RAM. That'll tell you everything.
Guys, I'd like to interrupt.
If you see two,
Guys, speaking of seeing two, I'd like to interrupt this for a special news report. The fucked up gaming media just put out a eulogy tweet to Iwata, and they put Miyamoto's picture up. Thank you. Thank you, Polygon. You're an amazing source of media.
Polygon ain't do that shit.
I would love to see the 18-year-old kid that put that up there for Polygon. This is the media we talk about, guys. Putz.
Oh well, had it been Yoshida or something, there would have been fucking.
Oh man!
No, but this is ridiculous.
King of Garagi
boy on the bed of
King of Garagi.
Doesn't it have an editor? Doesn't it go through somebody?
This is what I'm trying to say.
That's an embarrassment.
If you're watching this show and you listen to the gaming media, do what Z says. Stick your hand in a fucking bag of ice and smack the shit out of yourself. Because, man, I'll be honest with you, we are listening to kids reporting actual news. This is a man that is the reason all of us even have the heart and soul we got right now. So, like I said, my heart goes out to the family and everything else, and he's the reason I'm where I am today in the gaming world. But my point is, this is the crap that I'm talking about. You've got Polygon's supposed to be one of the ones where you poll anybody that knows anything about gaming, they'll actually give credit to Polygon. And this idiot put the wrong picture up on the day the man died.
Ken Kuburagi up there. the
Yeah.
father of the PlayStation. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, yo. Hey, man. They
Did
they
they
all
at least
like,
fix it? I mean, that's pretty
Not
bad.
yet. Not that I'm seeing, but it's
They didn't even fix it?
Twitter's catching on to it right now. I just saw it.
Oh.
Jeremy Conrad tweeted it out, so I'm retweeting.
Oh, wow. Do they still have it? Wow.
Yeah, I just tweeted it out. Dude,
Oh, man.
unbelievable, man. Unbelievable.
Oh man, like I said, it is. So first of all, shout out to 200 people watching us live. Thank you for rocking out with Big Game and Small Talk.
Most
But hey, Tim, hold up. Let's turn this on you. If you got handed down the talk, what would you do to make Nintendo competitive?
I would just change the market like they're doing. I would just go after mobile. I would go after the kids, the women, and
What, kids? To make them
Yeah.
competitive?
No, like Nintendo, I would just go put out a 150 box that could play, hopefully maybe a little
shit.
above the Wii U spec.
I got
but-
Iwata Jr. over here, huh, Tim?
No, what I would do personally, but I don't know. For Nintendo, you want to make money. You're too far gone.
But this is a new console. You do realize who buys your console.
I just don't
goes
see
out
them.
buys the day
They're
one.
not a hardcore set though. That's not them. That's not in their DNA. They changed over the years.
Oh.
So I see, in my
Our
opinion,
watch is gone, Tim. We got new blood. Our watch is going.
I would probably do the same thing that you would do, but that takes years to implement. It's not.
No, it does. That don't take years, Tim. Like, come on.
Online takes a little time. You gotta.
Listen, let me tell you this. I'm gonna say this again.
You have to hire people.
No. The Wii U can do the basic shit that I'm talking about. It's just that Nintendo doesn't allow it because they don't want the adults talking to the children.
I agree.
had games
You have
with
to
voice
open
chat.
that up. You have to open that up. That would be a big selling point.
Yeah, they had games, that like had voice chat and shit. You know what I mean? But like I told you when I got the Wii U day when I fell for the thing. No longer would Nintendo be left in line. They had all these third.
Let me ask you a question. Can you buy a game digitally on Nintendo.com?
.com. I think you can buy it on their marketplace, whatever the fuck. Waza.
Can you buy it and then it actually downloads your copy?
I know you can buy it from there.
Like, is there any preloading on that?
I don't know.
I don't think so.
See what I'm saying? That's all an online infrastructure that you have to build. It's not. They're so far down. Microsoft pushed Sony. If Sony was just, this is why you have competition. If Sony just had it, you would still be getting hacked. But the fact is that competition pushes itself, and Sony, because of Microsoft, pushed their game so much up, and it's still not on Microsoft's level. Let's don't get that. Xbox Live is superior times 10.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we know that thanks
but-
to the new movement by the Sony people themselves.
But
They're
PSN
only-
still is still working. Now you're talking about Nintendo getting to that point of preloading the game. You have to have an infrastructure. They're on servers. They're not. I don't see them. You would start to see things, in that direction. You don't see anything. That's why I feel like it's just going to be a 150 add-on. I mean,
150.
$199 or something cheap. And something they maybe open up the chat that's a good idea.
Well, they can't do an add-on. No, that's too confusing. The Wii U's confusing enough.
Not an add-on. Maybe it'll be like you said. It'll forego the third-party market.
Again?
That's $1 million.
Nobody's gonna.
You'll know
buy
by
it.
the RAM. If it comes out and has 2 gigabits of RAM, just walk away because you're not going to be happy.
I think it's going to have 4 to 6 gigs of RAM, but I think that
right, 4 to 6.
I mean, it's going to get Disney Infinity, it's going to get Skylanders, it's going to get Lego games, it's going to get Just Dance, it's going to get all the first-party stuff.
Right.
They might get a few other those third parties doing some exclusives like Bayonetta, and you know what I'm saying? They're still. I mean, if they could get something that's selling,
will they add in a second next generation Nunchuck with Wii U? Will they try that again?
I don't know. I think they just need to go away from that and just go with a regular controller. Reboot. There was a lot of hype over the GameCube adapter for the Wii U. People like that controller. Why not go back to something similar to the GameCube controller? You know what I mean? People liked it. It was comfortable.
Smash.
Yeah, put a dual analog on that. Controller.
Yeah, their controller sucked dick. They just like their controller was easy for Smash.
Yeah, that's the thing too. Wouldn't they have their controller would be very interesting too. Well, it's probably you probably can use your iPad as a controller.
Hey, speaking of online though, real quick, let's get away from the Nintendo talk. This whole movement thing, I wasn't around for much of the week, but this whole movement thing started from PlayStation fanboys. They actually are admitting that PlayStation. Well, we know that that's debunked now. They used to say no, it's on par. It's just as good as Xbox Live. We now know that that's not the case because the features that they're asking for are features that were on the 360. So they're asking for features that are basically essentially a generation behind of what the Xbox One is now. The ability to change your name, appear offline. We could all do that shit on 360, right? So basically that's what they're asking for. If you're a PlayStation dude, you have to be wondering, PlayStation Plus is 5 years old. Where did that money go? What did they spend it on? Will they actually listen to you? Because they've already said they're not going to be able to make it so you can change your name and do some of these things. Some of the things they're asking for would require completely rebuilding PlayStation Network, and they're not going to do that. So it's cool that Sony's like, yeah, give us your ideas, but if anybody actually thinks they're going to fix any of this shit, maybe you haven't been paying attention to what company this is, because Sony's not going to fix shit. You know what I mean? They like to look good, and they're hoping that this just blows over. But the bottom line is,
you know what I like that they did? Crap. They redirect them to their little blog site. You know what I'm saying? Where they can take the complaints and stuff. So they redirect them to a place where they do not receive their complaints. Even though they can post them, they're not really paying attention to them.
Yeah, I mean, because they can't do it. I mean, what are they going to do? At this point, it's like, you know what I mean? Microsoft had a plan for this generation's Xbox Live, and it was 300,000 or whatever, however many dedicated servers it is, right? And cloud-based and all this stuff, right? Sony just went with the same servers and system that they had on the PS3, and they're paying for it. But the problem is this. When you're paying for a premium online service, there should not be scheduled maintenance all the time. And because you're going to get some downtime that's not scheduled as well, and that's a little bit unacceptable. You know what I mean? And come on, man, 2015, and you can't appear offline. You can't change your name. So people that pick fucking McLovin as their PSN name back in when Superbad came out in 2007 are still stuck being fucking McLovin or start all over. You know what I mean? It's bullshit. I mean, come on. I mean, I know a ton of people on Xbox that had a stupid name back when, in 2005 when they first started with Xbox Live on the 360, and then they've changed it multiple times. I think that should be a basic thing, right?
Right. One thing I'm happy to see that they finally stood up and voiced their concerns about something. You know what I'm saying, that they really wanted change with the PlayStation. You know what I'm saying? Because normally they don't say anything. It's just they'll take whatever
they're
Sony
afraid
gives
to
them.
say things. Yeah, they're afraid.
So I'm happy, just that they are standing up, holding Sony accountable for something. I can get on board with that. When I see that, I can get on board with that. Hashtag better PSN, I'm all for it. But it's just I'm just happy to see that. That's all I'm gonna say on that. But I'm just happy to see that. Cause they don't hold nobody accountable for nothing. I mean, it's Sony accountable for anything. So for me to see that, I'm like, as a gamer, I can get on board with it. So I'm good.
Yeah, man, this is what I'm seeing. I'm sitting back. I agree with exactly what Showstopper just said. I sit back here. You have conversations with grown people, and they have a service that's down every 2 weeks. They've got the ability. You can't even, like you say, can't change your name.
It's on par with Xbox Live.
Right. Yeah. It's on. And then you've got the media and all these people, and I don't care. This is not the question of fun. This is the question of, would this shit be a relevant conversation if they actually had games coming out? The system has nothing, and every YouTuber that has a PlayStation is like, whether they're showing it, they're twitching it, or they're talking over it. They're showing this RC Pro-Am game over and over again, and this is the bullshit that we've all had to deal with for all the past 2 years. It's an unbelievable bias that's been held over through the media that this is a better system. Nobody's saying anything. They're not being held accountable by, and forget the fans. Yes, the fans should. They should. But the media, when Microsoft had that what was that thing? Power on or instant on was like causing you to spend a quarter of a red cent every 2 days. The media had that everywhere. You had that douchebag Destin Legary on the fix on IGN, that scumbag. He's sitting there. He's a scumbag, nothing but an utter scumbag. But
he
sitting
is
there.
because he's on the fucking Xbox podcast and he's talking about how he plays. All he does is play Destiny on the PS4.
He's a scumbag. So he's sitting there and he's like, I don't know, guys. This is just one of those things where, I can't see why Microsoft would want us to pay more. Shut the fuck up. It's a penny. Like, so you got this guy saying that, and then PSN's down for 2 weeks, and he don't give a shit. And that's not even brought up on Podcast Beyond. Not even brought up. So, I mean, this is just, it's disgusting. So, yeah, I'd like to see these movements where they're doing the PSN servers thing through the players. But let's be honest, guys. You see when we actually do something, when Microsoft guys make a stance and put their foot in the sand, shit gets done because we're loud. These guys, there's like 15 people making a big deal about PSN. It's not the Sony's just looking at it and they're like, these motherfuckers.
It started on GAF actually.
Yeah, who cares? They don't care. Sony doesn't give a shit because nobody's making a stink about it.
I was just happy that it went this way. It sucks that, because when I first heard of PlayStation Plus, they're like, we're doing a premium service, PlayStation Plus. I was like, hey, maybe this is the shot in the leg that service needs to be competitive because I played competitively on PS3 and Xbox 360 Call of Duty, and the Call of Duty stuff on the PlayStation 3 was just a joke. That's all the time, like it was hard finding matches. You just lagged all around, and you didn't have the problems on 360. And it was just the teams sucked on PlayStation. Like the online infrastructure was really bad. The invites would lock up your screen. It was just really bad. You know what I mean? And I thought, well, maybe this will, and they didn't even spend the money on the network. And that's the sad part. They spent 5 years, and there's not one goddamn improvement for the PlayStation 4 as far as online as opposed to the PlayStation 3. Yes, they can do party chat, but guess what? The 360 could do that. You still can't appear offline. You can't change your name. There's a host of things you can't do. You know what I mean? There's just...
I mean, the one thing that kind of irked me is that they were when this all started. It started on GAF. Well, they were asking for two-step authentication. Like, when your fans are asking for two-step authentication, something's wrong. You know what I mean? That should become standard with any kind of,
I think the PS2 online had some two-step authentication on some games.
Yeah, it still doesn't have. It doesn't have it, and I know because I've actually seen it in action.
I wouldn't know because my PS4 is boxed up in the closet till 2016.
Damn.
But
I think y'all missing the whole point, though, man. I mean, wow, ponies are standing up to Sony.
Good. That is good.
I mean, really. I mean, y'all just let that go over y'all head like woof. You know what I'm saying? They are finally putting their hooves in the sand and standing up to Sony.
I think some are, and I think that's good. That's a good first move, I think. But for me, the best part is, the best part of that whole situation is that we can debunk the rumor or the fallacy that it's on par with Xbox Live. Yeah, because they were beating that drum. They were over here, They were beating that drum. We heard that all around. Oh, it's the same. It's just as good. It's just as good. And now we know that's all.
It is good though that they are standing up. At least they're finally doing it.
That is solid, man.
They should be doing that about games. I mean, seriously. I mean, they could play RC Beach Ball, whatever the hell that is, all day long. But I mean, this year they're not playing anything else. I mean,
did you guys catch Phil during E3? Tim, catch me. My words here are not going to be right, but you might remember. Phil made a point to say that he was going to make sure Xbox Live is not down and runs as smooth as silk. Do you guys remember him saying that? That was a big thing. He was
I don't remember him
saying
interviews. That, but I can tell you one thing.
Not on stage. Not on stage.
No, I'm just going to say something on the subject. Yeah, it was brought up. It was brought up to somebody very high up, and they take, as they take everything very seriously. I think that they're taking an extra precaution right now to keep everything up. I mean, they've been pretty solid ever since E3, and the reason why E3 was, I was at E3, I was out there. I talked to actually some of the engineers when the backwards compatibility was announced. Everything shot up. All people went to Xbox.
Xbox Live had problems after.
Yeah, because it was flooded. 24% preview requests, up crazy numbers.
I get hundreds of preview requests.
But they saw it on their end, on their internals, and all their numbers went crazy. But yes, they are taking that to a next level.
Hey, just
especially with Windows
speaking
10.
of these numbers, okay? This came out that Xbox One, hold on, where is it? Double their sales in Spain after E3, and that sounds stupid, right? But when you figure that this is a country that's not America, right, and it's a country that PlayStation really pretty much dominated, it's an area, right? And these people see that the Xbox One is doing all these great things, and then you have double your sales. Now imagine this: Gamescom could do this for the European market because Sony's not even going to be there. So what I'm looking to see is the bump that they're going to get from Gamescom, which is vastly approaching. You're not going to have any competition. Eyes all on Microsoft. They're re-unveiling the first official gameplay of Crackdown and Scalebound, and there's going to be surprises and new IP and things like that. I think that it's a real opportunity for them to do well in a country that Sony is bragging about dominating, yet at the same time not giving a shit because they're not actually going. You know what I mean? So I think that it's a real
big opportunity for them, yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Huge opportunity. I mean,
and that's the big thing. We know we're going to get the big three. We're probably going to get, I hope we get a real surprise. I'm hoping for one surprise. But
they're not going to the big three, man. It's the big two for them. They're like,
yeah. they're not going to Tokyo.
Yeah, they're using.
No, I meant the big three. The Scalebound, Quantum Break, and the other game.
Dude, I'm dying to see some Crackdown and Scalebound footage, man.
Right,
Come on,
Crackdown.
man. Like, damn.
That's going to be the big part of the show. I'm hoping we get an additional surprise to that. That would make me very happy, but we'll see. I mean, it's good. Well, everyone's going to be talking about those three games. They're going to be like, wow.
I mean, those are huge. I mean,
That's
look,
fun.
there's a chance that this show, because look, they're probably going to show Halo 5 as well there too, because look, it makes sense.
Yeah.
You know that look, Halo sells well in Europe, so you're going to show that as well.
Yeah, you're right.
So they're probably going to show some stuff that we already saw, like Halo and maybe Tomb Raider, but because you're going to show those are both things that you can't get on PlayStation this year. So and Forza also does really well over there. I wouldn't mind some kind of stage demo over there.
Forza,
yeah,
you're right.
And you know what I'm saying, and do a surprise from Rare, because Rare actually. They had their game #1 on the pre-order sales over there.
Oh yeah, they're very good, Rare.
Yeah, so take advantage of your European developers,
good people
because
too.
You
really
have them
good
like
people.
Remedy, European developers, Rare, super cool. Lionhead unveiled their new IP, possibly. They're European. You have and that's what's going to do well over there. You know what I mean? Like they did the more American show. Yeah, they did the more American stuff over here for the most part, in my opinion, with E3. You got European clout too over there, and you got no competition.
It's gonna probably be all European now that I think about it. That's a good point.
Yeah.
Because why you do it like you should see Lionhead, you should see Rare, and yeah, you Forza. That's pretty much. We might have just named the whole show. Yeah. But maybe we get an additional surprise to that.
Well, he said that there could be. He said that there's other surprises, and also a new IP or something like that. So I think that it would be.
They could show Recore, but I don't know if Recore's ready.
Well, he said during his interview one-on-one with IGN, after E3, he said that he's playing it currently.
It's fantastic. Yeah.
He's playing it. He says he's loving it. But I agree with you. Here's the thing though. Is it actually too soon to show it? If it's really truly a spring release, it's not that early to show it.
Well, the thing is that that's easier said than done. To put up a demo and actually have it go, you have these. This is when that whole thing with Digital Foundry did what they did.
Right.
Now you just shy away people from doing that because they say fuck you, because my game ran on a demo and they're rushing to get that. They play that demo over and over and over and over, and they have another person playing it just on stage so it doesn't go down, so they switch over. If it ever goes down, they always have another person playing it, but they always have it's so critical that they can't just push out Recore. It's too much on the dev. They got to work on the game. So maybe they can have some kind of news on it, but they're not gonna have a demo.
You shine some light on it. A lot of people are confused on this. Is Recore going to be a AAA?
Yeah, it's AAA. It has a physical. Yeah, it's a big game. It's open.
I was told not to tell that at the beginning, but it came out after.
Yeah, they did the interview. It's like that third person open world or whatever.
The only reason I question, this is a real novice kind of question, is they announced it and they said spring 2016.
Yeah.
That's just a really quick turnaround.
It was already
13 months. It was in production.
well, the article said 14 months, so yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So
It was,
you're looking at over 2 years production time. Like how they did that, I don't know. But this guy did the most of the team was the Metroid Prime team. So that's a big AAA.
yeah.
Again,
They kept their mouth shut.
I'm still going to be my only little bit of worry about it is that, 19 months, a little over 2 years, every game we've played today has had, look at Fallout 4. Fallout 4 is a big game. It's 5 years in development.
That game will be ready. It doesn't have to be.
Did they say how long they were working on it?
They could not get 2 months.
2 years and a little over 2 years to me.
Well, that's what Gears is.
That's fine.
That's what Gears is going to be. 2
No,
years.
it'll be more than that. Gears is going to be almost 3 years.
We don't know how long that studio was working on it before they bought it, Microsoft.
Well,
crap,
apparently they bought the IP, and then when they brought in Rod is when they really started amping up.
Yeah, but crap. You're talking about January, February. They acquired it. They started day one. Only God knows what Epic even had written down that they bought into.
Nothing.
It won't be no, they probably had something going. But listen. On top of that, you have all the way until the end of 2016, which is almost 2017.
I understand. So you're
3 years. It's 3 years.
Well, you even
You
so,
can
you
release
say
it in August. I mean,
and that's got a multiplayer, and that's got a multiplayer aspect as well that you have to make for.
Right.
You can imagine if it was just a single player game, then I think it's going to take a lot less. I mean, look at this.
I'm hyped for Recore.
Recore is going to be a single player game, I would think, right? Yeah.
I don't see it having no multiplayer. It didn't scream multiplayer.
And 2 years is I hear what you're saying, but you got to realize that they're going to ship it when it's ready. They have a whole blank.
Right.
They could put it in August. You can't say if nothing goes on in August really ever on Xbox side.
We got Gears this year.
Well, yeah, that's a big one. But
speaking of which, let me ask you a question, Tim. I think they're really dropping the ball by not doing a Gears console. I
don't agree. I think that they're gonna have Gears 4 console.
Yeah,
they can do that too. There's one thing I can say about Sony.
It cheapens it. It totally cheapens it. I had this argument with some Xbox dude, and he's an Xbox dude.
Batman is
but check this out. Okay,
hotcakes.
But we don't know the, and so did the Destiny 1 and all this stuff, right? We get that, but this is just a remake, right? It's a remake game. They're gonna have the Forza. They're gonna have the Halo 5 custom, probably a Tomb Raider custom, maybe even a Fallout custom. Why waste it?
Tomb Raider is not Gears like that. You have.
Yeah, but look, it's just a remake, though. I totally understand why they did it.
People are still playing Gears right now on their console that would make that lump of get me a Gears.
It is free with every Xbox One though, starting in August.
It's just to me a Gears 4. It just cheapens it. It just have a Gears 4.
It doesn't. It cheapens
it. Gears 4 and make it really good. Yeah. Have a chainsaw on it or something.
Put it in with a white Xbox One.
Well, did you see the ones they had at Comic-Con? Did you see the one they had at Comic-Con? Right, it has a really good decal and everything.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
Look, you don't want to cheap. You don't want to have 4 fucking. You know what I'm saying? Different consoles.
Yeah, they're gonna have a Halo. Why would you want to have a Halo right up against Halo?
I think this is just my take on it. It clash with the Forza.
Why would
it would clash with the Forza.
It would clash with the Forza because they trying to sell that console, that package, and this is just a remake. This is just a remake. Now, when Gears 4 come out, then you have that console for that game.
But Forza has a bigger cult following. I'm sorry, not Forza. Gears has a bigger cult following than.
Yeah. But that console looks nice though. That Forza console is sick.
I'm not saying that it doesn't look nice, but what I'm saying is that you have a cult following for Gears. You know what I mean? Even after Gears launch, people probably still will go by and pick up that Gears of War bundle. You know what I mean? I'm just saying, there's one thing I said. Even Sony has a Metal Gear bundle coming out.
I just think it's too early.
But that's a new game, though. Metal Gear is a new game.
I'm not into doing remakes too. Come on, give me a new game, nice,
But as one thing I said, all those consoles, Sony's killing it with that. That Batman shit.
Yeah, they did well. Yeah, did well.
So I don't expect Microsoft to win.
Well, Sony's very good at the hardware end. That's their strength is their hardware.
Yeah, I'm just saying, but it wasn't.
The Xbox needs a redesign, and that's probably what Gears 4 will probably be. And you know what? That'll be perfect. It'll be a redesigned Gears custom console.
I'm just saying,
you don't need a Gears Ultimate Edition remake console.
Yeah, I agree with that.
What I'm saying, at the end of the day, they need to switch up the flavor. You know what I mean? I can't. You might even get snatched some PS4 customers, or people may even go double dip.
I think the big one's going to be Halo. They're going to do a dedicated Halo console that's going to sell a lot. I fully expect them to do. I think what is it like? The PS4 is like 500K ahead of them here. I fully expect almost a 2 million turnaround. Microsoft's going to. They outsold them by almost 1 million last holiday without like a true knockout AAA game. This year they're gonna have Halo. It's a true fucking knockout game. That's gonna push consoles, man.
Sony's gonna drop the price.
Well, Microsoft. I mean,
Sony's dropping the price. Yeah, they're gonna right on Halo Day. They're gonna drop the price.
Okay, and that's fine. But guess what? You're Black Friday.
I think Xbox will still beat them. Yeah, you'll see $299.
You're gonna see. You'll probably see sub $299 Xbox Ones on that day.
Yeah, you're doing a $279 Xbox. People will just be it'll be fist fights.
Yeah, that's how it's gonna be. Because this is the thing. Yeah, well, I don't think that. You know what? I think that even worse for PS4 this year is last year they at least had a couple of things that you could buy. It was like GTA remake was okay. What was it like? They had a Last of Us bundle and Little Big Planet 3 or whatever the hell that was. This year, what do they got that's going to really attract the masses? I mean, you could say maybe some of that third-party stuff, but when Tomb Raider can only be played on Xbox. Halo can only be played on Xbox. Forza only on Xbox. So I think that Sony's going to get mollywopped this year in America.
Yeah, they are. They're going to get saying a mollywop.
Controller in the PC.
That's a hood, bro. You mollywop the shit out of them.
They are, man. They're gonna get. It's not even gonna be close to
that controller too, and the BC.
Absolutely,
Xbox,
because
and they got DirectX 12, Windows 10, like the whole UI changing Cortana. I mean,
is that happening this holiday season?
Yeah, that's all happening. Yeah, it's on the roadmap. Cortana.
Oh yeah, Windows 10 is later.
Universal apps. I mean, we forget Universal apps. We don't even talk about it. Like it's all coming, third-party apps, everything.
I don't really care much about the apps, to be honest.
But you know what I mean. It's just something that just keeps adding and adding.
Yeah, well, I'm sure there's probably a lot of people that are gonna dig that kind of stuff. But for me, it's just all mostly about like the gaming.
Would it be cool to do a Google call on? Well, I don't know if they would ever do that, but imagine doing a Google call through Xbox. You don't even have to sign on.
Google, yeah. Hang out on your Xbox One.
Yeah, that'd be a cool app.
That'd be a cool app. Mm-hmm.
We use it all the time. That'd be dope.
Yeah, the producers always got other shit up on the screen though. I always like and looking at the next story and shit. So it's like be difficult for me. Like this. Did you guys see the God of War 3 remastered video? Right.
Yes.
The shit. I'm like, it looks exactly the same.
Yeah.
It looks exactly the same as the PS3.
How much are they asking for that game?
It's $40.
I'm gonna tell you, crap. You don't know what you're talking about. You got to see the beauty in motion. You taking still shots. That's what I got from ponies, man. Ponies were sitting here like, they were sitting here like, you got to see it in motion, show. You can't be sitting here having that. I'm like, what? Motion?
I was watching.
What is you talking about?
And listen, I'm a big God of War fan.
I am too.
And I was thinking about buying that game, but they listen, I gotta say one thing, and if I was on, you gotta call Sony out on their remasters or they remake because they look like they don't do anything to them. Like
they put a splash,
you
a splash
look
of
what they
paint.
did with Gears. I mean, they did the whole facial animations. They redid the cutscenes like really good. Like that's a remake. Like you see Gears, that's a remake.
It's so apples and oranges. You've got what they did with Halo 2 by hiring Blur. That's like playing it all. I said it over and over again when I was playing. It was like playing the game all over again for the first time. Same thing's gonna happen with Gears. And when you see what they're doing with God of War 3 and what they're doing with the this Uncharted collection, the media literally says every week, we're not really sure if they pushed back Uncharted 4 because they wanted the collection to come out. What do you mean they weren't sure? Like, this was in planning for years. This doesn't happen over the course of a luncheon. You know what I mean? Who the fuck? Like, literally, this is a Uncharted 4 got pushed back. They took 1, 2, and 3, smashed them together. They're gonna paint job it. They took out the multiplayer. PlayStation fans that are listening to this show,
That'll be
you
better
are
than
getting
this,
ripped
though.
off. They're getting ripped off. You're getting ripped off. Like, they are laughing at you. Sony's laughing at you. They're putting a coat of paint on a game you already have in your disc tray in your PS3. You're not getting nothing for it. We're going to get the Gears of War Ultimate Edition. That game looks, literally, I put the beta on, and I just walked in a circle. Like, holy shit, look at the effects in this thing. The thing looks beautiful. It's like I've never played the game of Gears before at 60 frames per second. And that's the other thing. They never commit to 60 frames per second on the Last of Us Remastered. They said, well, they have the locked 30 option you can do in the option menu, but they never said they'd give you the 60 locked, and they didn't. So you never got it there, and you're not going to get it here. So you're not going to get 60 frames per second, and you're getting a shitty paint job. And $40 on top of that. So, I mean, I don't know, man. How these people defend it?
60 frames per second?
Ooh, what game?
Is that remake to 1080p 60 frames per second?
Have they said locked?
Well, no, they
I know
say
The Last of Us wasn't.
I could see it being 60 frames though, because
Yeah, that's the only selling point.
well, it's going to be
You know what it
because
is? That game just doesn't fit a remake. It's just like it really is a tacked on. But a game like Gears, you see those cutscenes and everything like that.
and even I see how biased that sounds when you say it out loud, but it's true. Gears has online and offline. They redid the cutscenes. It's new animations. They added things to it, and it's $40, right? God of War has no online. They didn't do anything but upscale it and make it 60 frames per second. What is the actual reasoning behind that? Look, the
They
remakes that
also added
Microsoft...
PC. They also added PC gameplay on the UE edition, because it was on the PC. There was more gameplay on that edition than there was on the original.
Yeah, you get
Xbox.
6 extra chapters or something.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, so there's a bunch of stuff on there, right? But here's the thing: when Microsoft has done the anniversary games, this is basically Gears Anniversary, but a year early. Right, because it's been 10 years next year. When we got Halo 2, that was going to be the game. It was a 10-year anniversary. They redid it. Fable Anniversary, the first one on the 360 was the 10-year anniversary. Halo CE Anniversary. They do it when it's right. It's not just like these cash grab kind of. Let's get this game. Yeah, let's just get this game out there. I mean, look at the stuff that people were actually crapping themselves over. What the hell is that damn game?
You get the Gears. You also get the Gears. You get Gears beta with that too. With the
Gears 4 beta. It's going to be huge.
That's huge. That's worth $40.
Yeah. Oh, that's definitely worth $40 because it's not just the same old. It's running on dedicated servers. Which, if you ever played Gears 1,
you're right.
If you ever played Gears 1,
what every Gears fan wanted Gears 1 to be.
Yeah.
They all complained for years. I remember Gears fans would just say, "Oh, I want it to be a dedicated servers. I want a 60 frames per second." Now they got it.
Exactly, and so that's huge. Like, there's no excuses not to, now those Gears fans can upgrade, and you get the game for free. What more do you want? Spend $350, get the Xbox One and Gears for free. So if you were a Gears fan,
played a lot, man.
Yeah, just look at who played the beta. It was like, what was it, like a million, something? It was like millions of matches and millions of head stomps and shit. It was fantastic.
Yeah, 107 million head stomps.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was crazy. I wanted to talk about one more thing that I wrote down, and Tim, I've seen you express some displeasure on this. The whole nitpicking by Digital Foundry, like months in advance. I did a video about this, right? And I was like, okay, I don't care. You want to nitpick the final build of these games? That's fine, right? But nitpicking these games 6 months, 4 months, 12 months away, all it does is hurt the industry because it puts all these doubts in people's minds. They're not going to, and let's face it, the industry's not as healthy as people believe. It can have a negative impact on it, and it's not just an Xbox thing. But I will say, Digital Foundry focuses on Xbox stuff, right? Like we still haven't seen anything from Digital Foundry on The Last Guardian, on that that Horizon game, or how about that Uncharted game, right? So they tend to focus more on the Xbox because that's what's going to get them the hits, right?
Yeah, well, they did the BT was really, really, really shitty. That really pissed me off. And then they did the E3 demo, and that's what really just set me off. Because the BC thing was just like 3 days after it goes out. They're still working on the emulator. I mean, come on.
Shouldn't Digital Foundries be held to this one standard? Until you have the disc in your hand,
I don't think you should.
I don't want to hear shit.
What's
you
gonna
know, I think
end up happening is less games, less people releasing their video, less of the shit, because that's
Look what
wrong.
happened to Doom last year. Remember the dev said we don't want
Less
our game,
babies.
we don't want it nitpicked by these people and by the fanboys. So we're not going to show you Doom. Sorry, but blame the fanboys and Digital Foundry because they're going to nitpick this stuff. Look, how can they? You know, they're basically taking stuff off. Remember when they did with the Call of Duty Advanced Warfare stuff that was captured on Xbox One? They took the video off YouTube and analyzed it,
Yeah,
right?
too
And everybody's like, it's only going to be 800p, ha ha ha. And then it ended up being
I don't mind
1080p.
Digital Foundry. I've always watched it, but this is just too much.
Yeah, but my
the standard they should be held to. The standard they should be held to. I don't like that the format that they run it out of, where they just put a PS4 on this side and a XO on this side. I think if you're gonna run it and you do it separately, we need to see exactly what those frame rates are running on that hardware. I just don't trust how they got it set up, you know, because you can easily switch the PS4 and put it over there with the Xbox One and put the Xbox One over with the PS4, and you can do vice versa. I just think they should have it to where, you know, if it's running on that hardware, it should be you sitting here saying it is, and we just trusting your word. We know in this day and time you can't trust anybody no more. So it need to be shown. You know what I'm saying? I mean, however how they doing it, however how they testing it, and I think the reason why they ain't showing that is because if everybody get hip to it, you know, then won't nobody be looking to come into them anymore for it. But we still need to see it actually running on that console. I just think that's what's bodying this whole thing, and the reason why I don't really kind of lean towards Digital Foundry anymore is because I don't know for sure, because certain things I see look like PlayStation from what they've been showing in the past that's on Xbox, and then certain things I see on Xbox was like PlayStation, kind of like how it moves. So I just don't trust it anymore. I mean, that's just me. Everybody entitled to their opinion and how they feel about it. I just think it should be a higher standard. If you're saying it's running on this console, do the frame rate separate, show that it's running on that hardware, and then bring them together and then put them together and do it that way.
But I mean, don't you guys think, like, what's the point in running these tests so far in advance?
It's way too fast.
And that's true.
And other than to get fanboys to bitch and to like get people to say, oh, well, that sucks, or it's basically for clicks, because you realistically should not be running these tests until the final build.
Well, I got news for you. I guarantee you that might stop. I think that they know that they went a little too far. So we'll see if they do this again.
Did you see the Frank O'Connor thing with the frames per second on his I thought that was pretty funny. I mean, come on, that was clever. Like, I don't know who did that, but it was pretty funny.
Fade to Black did that. You follow him on Twitter.
I think I do follow him. Yeah, I do. I think I do follow him. I saw that come up, and I thought it was funny.
He listens to the show.
Yeah, I thought that was hilarious, right? But like I said, it's not a fanboy thing. It's not an Xbox versus PlayStation thing. What it is an industry thing, and what happens is it costs us because we miss out on seeing the games earlier. Like, did any of us sit there and go, "Holy shit, what's that Halo 5? That looks like it's sub HD or sub 15."
No, you weren't even thinking resolution.
Yeah,
we're not thinking resolution.
From them, and they do it for clicks, you know, to pay the bills. Is that every Microsoft exclusive, whatever they have, they hold under a magnifying glass. Where was the frame per second test for Uncharted?
Or Horizon.
Or Horizon, or the last Guardian.
You know what? I bet the last Guardian was sub HD as hell, because that thing was washed out.
You know what I mean? But I think it's silly as hell.
It was bad. And this is 3 times now they've done it to Xbox. So.
Yeah, they did it to Sunset Overdrive, remember?
Is that going to change any less of the game being fun?
The thing is that the developers are going to get fed up, and they're just not going to show gameplay.
Let me say this one thing, and I'm not being a fanboy. I'm just speaking personally, as real as I can. We judge games by what we see. If you need a $40,000 machine to tell you what resolution or how many frames per second is going on, it shouldn't make a fucking difference. We all looked at that goddamn Halo. I'm not the biggest Halo 5 fan. We all looked at that Halo 5 footage and were blown away.
At 720p.
That what counts more than anything. You know what I mean? So
That's
that's
true.
what gaming needs to get back to. You know what I mean? And Digital Foundry know that they're the one that's keeping this quote unquote this propaganda that this whole the Xbox One can't do 1080. This is the last time I checked, the Xbox One is the only console to have a AAA exclusive 1080p locked 60 frames per second, not PlayStation, the Xbox One, with Forza, Forza 5 and Forza 6. So, you know what I mean? But
Forza Horizon.
you know what I mean? I'm not Forza, Forza Motorsport, I'm sorry.
Well, Forza
You know what I mean?
Horizon was 30, but it was
Yeah, I'm saying
for
Forza Motorsport.
MSAA.
You know what I mean? But if you're into
Unlocked.
frames per second,
Impossible.
if
And
you're
locked.
into, there's one thing. If you're into frames per second, and if that's your thing, get a fucking gaming rig. We're
Listen,
console
I
gamers.
always say the same thing. If you put these people in like a remember that movie? What was the movie where if you didn't finish it, the little doll came out and you would die?
The Ring.
What you
No,
say,
not
bro?
the Ring.
I don't remember what the hell movie that is.
It was the movie where like if you didn't complete a thing, the old guy with the hood. I don't know. That's what I always think. If you said your life depends on it, tell me which version this was, and you were looking at it, you would be shitting your pants because you can't tell the difference.
Hey, Tim, even one better. When the Xbox One and the PS4 first before they launched, and they had the Call of Duty Black Ops footage, they said we're going to give an IGN said we're going to give the edge to the PS4 version because it looks more crisp and more clean because it's in 1080p.
Yeah, it was
They come to
720p.
find out the goddamn game was in 720p after the patch.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, and that wasn't a wake up call right there for you cut this shit. Like,
But it
come
was
on,
it was glorified, and that's where we are now.
Another big wake up call was when Shadow of Mordor released and there was no digital. Remember, people were clamoring. They're like, "What's the
Yeah.
Xbox resolution?" Like,
Yeah,
nobody knew. Like people were freaking out.
You
And I'm
saw
like,
the spot, put a 1080p, both of
Yeah.
them. And
yeah, like people were flipping out, right? And I was like, "Well, there you go."
It is stupid when you think about it. Like this is what we've gotten to. But we
Yeah,
have to
man, not
move back.
great games
We have to
of
move
what
back to the
frames
game.
It'll always be the generation I remember for people bitching that Mario Kart was 59 frames per second more than 60.
Yeah, that was on GAF. Just so you know. That's
in my
on
opinion,
GAF.
that's what's ruining this generation. It's not
I've-
it's not anything else. It's like the ignorance and the I guess the need to have the better thing, you know. And let's face it, even when the PS4 gets a quote unquote better version, it's not nearly the difference that the 360 advantage was.
Controller
over the
makes a
PS3.
big difference. If
Yeah,
you
it's
wanna-
not
you wanna be,
nearly.
You know.
But
It's
let me
not
say
like-
this though.
It's not like you're like, wow, I can. You know, it is a bullet point for PS4. But the thing is that let's not get over the point. People think 1080p and they think it's golden. It's about the
But,
game.
I mean, at the end of the day, was it a misstep or whatever? Fuck? Well, I won't even see the misstep because from what I've heard, what I gathered, the Xbox One was made for Windows 10 and DX12. So a lot of the problems that they were having with Resolute, it's going to, it's going to be a thing of the past. But I just want to say this in the day, you know what I mean? And we can touch on this before we answer a few questions. It seems like every time there's abundance of good news about the Xbox, you always have this one article from some site I never heard of that Nintendo is throwing in the towel on the Xbox division and this, that, the other. Mind you, the Xbox One is far outpacing the 360 at the same time around this. And I mean, you don't notice that every time, there's some good stuff come out about the Xbox, Nintendo's getting tired of because, they sold, I guess they get rid of the Nokia division or whatever the case may be.
Right.
Now the Xbox division is, up and on. I just you do realize that the Xbox division is worth more than Sony in its own. You know what I mean? Like, and that's fact. You know what I mean? Like,
Yes, I know what you mean.
You know what I mean? But it's for real. Like every time, it gets tiresome. Man, the Dallas he's gonna cut the strings on the Xbox division, and it's like, what the fuck? Like, god damn. You trust me. You don't want it to be just Sony, and just like I wouldn't want it to be just my competition is good for everything. Good for everybody, you know what I mean? I like the fact that Microsoft.
I think it's okay to like both consoles. It's just that the shit has to stop. Like the.
But when will it though? When is it? When will it? Like
I don't know.
When?
It won't. It won't because it's almost like it's almost like a sports thing, right? Like
now it's
people-
become a thing where it's just become that,
So if
it
Microsoft, like I said before, I did a video with the Xbox One catches the PS4 in North America. let's be real, they never had a foothold in Japan. Europe, basically, always they call it Sony land. You know what I mean? So if the Xbox One catches the PS4 in North America, you know what I mean? Which you know what I mean? Then what? What's going to be the thing? What's going to be the thing now? Are we going back to 1080p?
We should be talking about the games and getting games on the system. It's just
It should be the
games.
games. It should be the games, but it's not. Yeah, too bad. You know what I mean?
And
It's like
also now we're just the type of with YouTube and everything and all the things.
We don't talk about games.
It's just gonna go back and forth, go back and forth, go back and forth.
Hey, you guys should ask some questions real quick so we can wrap this up.
Man, this shit is just fucking disgusting. Like, Jesus, can we talk about games? Who got the better games? Or whatever the case may be. Like, yeah. We sold more in Indonesia. We sold 6 more consoles in Indonesia. Like, what the fuck? Like, this shit is crazy. Like, that money's going in your pocket, man.
Oh, hey, here's a comment from Kelvin. He says, nothing will change at Digital Foundry because the founder, Richard Ledbetter, is a well-known Microsoft and Xbox hater.
Oh. Yeah, but
hey, that's interesting. Yeah,
I don't know if that's true, but
Interesting and not shocking.
Yes. Hey, there's Moochie woke up. Insane XXL says,
He's
hey,
eating a burrito.
Woke up.
yeah, he is a mobile burrito.
I had a slice of the Microsoft pie, and then I had a little Nintendo hot sauce on my burrito.
We got one from Beats Games Life Zim M804. It's a long dumbass name, but he's a fan of the show. No, he does.
And we treat him to a fan by calling him, saying he has a long dumbass name.
Go, man. That's my man, though. I got a love-hate relationship with him, though. Cool dude, though. He said the Xbox 360 sold at a profit. The Xbox One is selling at a loss at a record pace. The last time I checked, the Xbox, neither the Xbox One or the PS4 came out selling at a loss. That's why they're not as powerful as could be. They're not selling at a loss. You know what I mean? Have you heard about the Xbox One selling at a loss?
I don't know. I think that originally
they're making some money on it.
They said, well, remember Yusef Mendy said originally that they were selling at a profit
of $75 or some shit.
Yeah, to equal at you know what I'm saying. So I imagine Unbundling Connect on those that they're probably actually making a bit of profit on those still. You know, they got a little bit of flexibility in there. You know what I'm saying? I just think that and then apparently Sony has too. I mean, I guess we'll see what happens. I can imagine that whatever flexibility they had, they lost once they put the new hard drive, 1 terabyte hard drive model together.
Don't start with that hard drive shit. Crap, hard drives are cheap as hell. They like.
Well, no, obviously though, that's why they're $50 more. I mean,
to the consumer, you know, they inflate the price, but trust me, hard drives are cheap, extremely cheap.
Well, when you got to buy millions of them, it still costs a lot. You know what I mean?
Not $50 worth. I paid $50 for a fucking two.
Yeah, we do, true. But I'm saying what they do, it still costs a lot. It's like when you watch. I don't know if you watched that podcast with the 3 Xbox bosses, but when they were coming up with the 360 and they had that build of Gears 1 running on 256K or 256 megabytes, and they were like, okay, well we had to go. I know, but when they went to the 512, like that's $1 billion decision.
I understand that, but you realize that. Back in 2004, RAM was much more expensive than it is now in 2015.
Well, I understand that, but still, there's a reason why that's $399 and not $349.
Okay, you say tomato, I'm gonna say tomato.
We're at 221 right now. Is this the record? 221 concurrent?
No, we had during E3 we had like 3 something.
Dude, we had like 4 something at E3, man.
Yeah, we sure did.
That was crazy, man. Yeah, dude.
I got another good question here from Insane XXL. Do you think Nintendo will make more mature games with the NX?
No.
No. How can they with the mobile burrito?
Oh shit! Hey, come on! Hey, crap! The guy just passed away. Shit.
Hey, I was the one that said he was.
Crap! Come on, man!
I was the one that said he was great. You're the one that was like,
crap! Hey, crap! Come on, man! The king of all rice eaters. Knock it off, crap! Fuck you, crap! Some shit. Shout out to Christopher Hughes. He said, "What a great show today." The Avengers 2015, that Call of Duty beta will be an epic fail if PSN takes a dump again. Well, how many? You should take a bet right now. When they get that beta for Call of Duty, shit crashes. How many? We should take a side bet on that shit.
Well, you know what's interesting is so Sony invested this money, $50 million, in getting this time DLC, right? but the #1 selling version was the Xbox One version. The collector's edition was #1 on Amazon. When they announced the game, first of all, the standard edition Xbox One was the #1 version. So I would venture this is going to be another Destiny situation where Sony's investing all this money and it's probably going to do. And I'm talking about the United States here, right? North America, Call of Duty is going to sell best on Xbox. Lock it in.
Can I ask you a question? How could you want to play if you're a pro? How could you not want to play on anything other?
Yeah,
than
see,
that?
they know.
Yeah,
People know.
no, but how could you just not even about that? Not that controller. I mean, if you're a pro,
That's what I'm saying.
you're using that controller. I
When
mean,
you're a
there's no.
professional race car driver, you have your own special gloves you wear all the time. It's like your good luck gloves. It's the way you got used to driving, the way you grip the wheel. That's the same thing these pros think about when they're having their controller. That controller is their life.
That gives you can switch. You can fast switch all your schemes. It's insane. If you're a professional gamer, that's going to give you an edge. It has high sticks, low sticks. It has middle sticks. It is insane. I'm telling you right now. If you're a Call of Duty fan, why would you want to? If you're a Call of Duty pro, why would you want to play on it? So it is like kind of like a better experience that you got to go with the.
This is going to be one of those things
PS4 and you got to go on their network. You know,
I'm going to say this now. I'm going to say this now and sound salty, and then in 2 years, someone will go, "Oh wow, Mooch called it." Like literally, this is going to be one of those instances that's going to be an utter failure. One of those things where they're like, "Well, yes, Sony took over the market."
I think it'll sell well, but
it's going to be a failure. It's a huge failure. They're catching it at the wrong time. This is Tim. Me and you are big-time Mets fans. Okay, we got Pedro at the wrong time. We got Mo Vaughn at the wrong time. We got Tom Glavine at the wrong time. They got Call of Duty at the wrong time. Trust me, it's too late. It's over.
The money might have been a lot of money. It's a lot of money. It was like $50 million, I think.
It's a lot of money. A and B. I'm talking about
if I was a Sony fan, I would be upset at that. You spend all that money on multi-platform.
Well, they had to do something because they had when the Uncharted thing happened. I think that's when that all started happening.
But why not spend your own money on your own, making your own games?
Well, you know what I love though? I love the Activision spin on that about how it was the right time to partner with Sony, and the only reason why it was the right time was because they were the ones that were offering you money. Microsoft wasn't. You know what I mean? I like that
developer too that gives you a problem with the BC.
Yeah, it's like these sites and stuff wrong with these stories. Oh, all these developers are going with Sony, like they're giving Sony free marketing rights. Sony's paying out the ass for all of these marketing rights.
For a game that's coming to you. Even Star Wars Battlefront. You're paying that big marketing, and then we're gonna get to play it first 5 days early on the Xbox One. To-do. Dan Robertson put. Do you guys have anything to say towards people who say this podcast spreads propaganda?
Oh my goodness!
And how they say you guys are yes men? Us? Yes men?
Hey, go listen to some of our. Did you not hear that we just had everybody basically disagree with each other over Nintendo? Go back and listen a couple weeks ago when me and Showstopper were debating over Xbox One and PC. We are not yes men. It's people that are uninformed. And not only that, but look, anybody that wants to try and do it, we do it, right? We've been a group, this core group, for a year and a half now. People do not. It's like a band. There's egos. There's personalities. You're gonna obviously clash, and you're gonna agree sometimes. But at the same time, if you think you can do better, do it. Let's see some of these jokers that want to talk shit on us. Put a podcast together and put the fans first. Look, I come back today. I literally got in an hour. I was away for the last week. I literally got in an hour before we did this podcast, just because.
That's dedication.
Just because.
I came back from vacation too. It wasn't only you.
Something what everybody don't realize with us is it's our chemistry.
Yep.
Before everything, above all this game stuff, we friends at the end of the day.
That's right.
I mean, we that's what everybody don't understand. So in order to have this chemistry, you first got to be friends first, man. I mean, I don't see it being anything else where you know that person and where they can say thank you, where they can come at you in a certain way and they can say some things that's offensive. And nobody hold each other accountable as it. We rub that stuff off.
During Christmas.
Yeah, that collard green stuff, man. That burned.
I don't know, man. It was Christmas Eve.
It was Christmas Eve. I was hungry.
I had people messaging me on Twitter about Xbox Live, right?
He was sitting here eating Christmas dinner.
I'm like, Christmas dinner. I'm I was like, go back to them collard greens, dude. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh,
you know what I
shit.
mean? Like, yeah, but check this out. Look, like people, how many people can start a podcast and then have the same people basically a year later? These
Year
people
later.
will not have their podcast going for 3 months, let alone a year and a half. You know what I mean? If they think they can do better, then let them try.
Yeah,
You know what I
They
mean?
don't realize how we are universal. We discuss various subjects.
Everything.
We totally
Yeah.
don't agree on everything at all.
Sure don't.
And to be honest with you, if we're guilty for liking the better product, I mean, just about what it's actually being put out, I'm going to speak for myself that I'm guilty as charged. Because I'll tell you right now, the Xbox gives me what I'm looking for as a consumer, okay?
Yeah.
And see, you preach it every day.
Yeah.
If you are not looking at every one of
It's not
ourselves in the mirror as a consumer, then you're the fool, not us.
You know what? At the end of the day, though, you know the last thing, like I said, we can maybe do one too. What I don't understand is, what is everyone's obsession with our podcast? You have people, you know, I don't understand. That I don't understand.
When was the last time we talked about anybody really on our show?
Someone is
I can't
inboxing some
remember.
shit about Broken Domes, talking about us and what his
Who is that?
podcast is
Who
going to
is that guy?
do your podcast, man. Like, who gives a fuck, man? You know,
Do
man,
you?
you know, you live in an alternate lifestyle, and no one gives a fuck about that, man. Do you, bro? You know,
That's it.
Suck a dick up to your hiccup, man. You know, grab that lube. R.I.P.
You know, I think what it is, we kind of left everybody alone.
We're all ourselves, and that's the bottom
Yeah,
line.
that's
Oh,
it. That's the
man.
bottom line.
We speak what we feel, and you know we all care about gaming. We love gaming. We love Xbox pretty much. We are an Xbox podcast. You know that. But you know that's just the way. You know that's what we do. It's fun.
And-
you know.
And another thing. And another thing, you said it right on. I agree with you, Tim. This is an Xbox podcast, but we also talk about PlayStation. We also talk about Nintendo. We also talk about PC at times.
Unfortunately,
You know what I'm saying? not because of Crap Gamer, but you know it is there. You know, so it's not. That's Crap going to sleep, y'all. He don't like PC. But at the end of the day, you know, we talk about everything, but our preference of what we hold in, you know, as our gaming console, as our first choice is Xbox. And there ain't nothing wrong with that.
Hey, and I'll tell you what, I'll put our collective knowledge, I mean, we're all in our 30s, as far as gaming, against anybody's, and I would say we're much more knowledgeable than the average podcast.
We've been through the beginning.
Yes.
We've been through the beginning, all of us.
I mean, come on, man. I mean, my first was NES, but I mean, I still had an Atari 20.
Atari,
My first was the NES, and the NES. No, I'm sorry. My first was the Retrex. You guys know what that is.
I do. It's black and white. You put a little thing over it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
little square little thing with the cartridges on the side. My first was the Retrex. Then after that was the NES, but I didn't have. You know, my cousins knew I didn't have the Atari. I thought those graphics were hard. I was always been the graphics.
Hey, and might I just say this, right? We're entertaining. I think that, like, you know, we early on maybe we were like when we saw, like, you know, I have nothing against the TIC podcast, good for them, they like to get the interviews. We had an internal meeting with us, and we said, do we really want to change our style to try to land interviews? And at the end of the day, we decided no.
No.
We were like, we did a Yoshida. No. Because look, we can get people, 10,000 people to watch our show, or 13, 15,000 to watch our reactions to an E3 conference, and they want to hear what we have to say. They don't care, you know what I'm saying? It's not based on having a special guest. You know, people like what we say.
I gotta say,
I like that.
The podcast puts up some. I was looking at because I watched the podcast.
And Tick Podcast is nice though. I like their podcast.
Nothing against those guys. Like I sorted out issues with them. But they do a different thing than we do. You know what I mean? And that's fine for them. Then it's fine for us. We didn't want to do. You know what I'm saying? We could have done with more interviews, but at the end of the day,
well, we do get a lot of views. The BGST. I mean, I was looking at it. Like I watched that because I watched that whole thing with Seamus Blackley and Phil and Peter Moore, which was good. But I looked at the views on some of his other stuff, of his other podcasts, and I'm like, looking at BGST, I'm like, you would think that it would be like 10-1. It's not.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not.
You know what? I want to say this, and again. And I'm not tooting my horn or anything like this. Because like I said, I had a vision, a premonition that I wanted to bring 5-6 different people from all walks of life. The only thing we had And to be real, this is the hardest thing to do is a podcast. You
Yeah.
gotta, you devote your time. You have 5 or 6 different personalities. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? You got, some are racist, some are homophobic. You get it all. So
He's talking to you, Mooch.
yeah,
USA.
like I said, this is probably one of the hardest things to do, but we enjoy. Like sometimes I don't feel like doing these motherfuckers. When we get to
Yeah, I do too.
when we get to rock and roll, they
But
always
when we
come
get
out
to,
great.
it comes out great.
You know what I mean? That's all I can say. You guys be beating us down. What's up with the podcast? Like that, I get tired of hearing that shit. Just get the same bad place at the same bad time. God damn it!
Yeah, I get
Same
that
bad
shit
channel.
every week.
You know what I mean? But we thank you guys and we appreciate you guys for rocking out with us from the bottom of our heart,
Most
man.
definitely.
And listen, go by and check out our merchandise in the store. We got T-shirts, hats, hoodies.
Hey,
Stop
buy a
buying
sticker.
those-
We get 15 cents from the
Stop
door.
buying those stickers. They only give us stickers.
Yeah,
Whatever
our
you
boy-
like, I still appreciate the
Our
love
boy
and
Jay
support.
Williams. Jay Williams put up a new mooch. Go
Yeah.
buy it.
I see somebody bought a Mooch shirt.
Where?
They tweeted it out,
Yeah,
dude.
man.
Mhm.
That's right. And there's new ones out
Mooch.
there. It's got me dressed up as Uncle Sam. So go buy
Yeah,
that shit.
no, but that
Is it
Warrior-
really? Yeah, you gotta
Yo,
do that.
Yeah, but that Warrior one is nice with him holding that goddamn all
Yeah,
the
it is.
consoles, the voice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That giant ass
That
Wii U
bastard.
controller.
Warrior Word got a nice one.
Yeah, you know what I mean. But anyway, shout out to Jay Williams. He made it all
Shout
possible.
out to
for us.
Jay Williams.
And but anyway, like I said, we catch you guys next week on the Big Game and Small Talk podcast or whatever. We'll grab you something later on this week. Whatever the case may be, thank you guys for rocking out with over 250 people here live with us today. We appreciate it. And again, R.I.P. to Iwata. And anything, like you said, wasn't said in disrespect. We were just, bouncing around ideas. Not saying with the company we better off
We're
without.
conversating. That's what we're doing. I mean,
Yeah,
not
what I mean,
everybody-
that's all. I'm just saying Nintendo needs new blood. You need to go in a different direction. That's all. They need third party. What I mean? They don't think you need third party, then I don't know what the hell's going on. But we catch you guys next week. Bang, bang.
Bang bang.
Ding, 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 ding.
Peace.
I got